Oh yeah, we are live. Everybody, Layman live. I'm the captain now. I'm officially the captain
Taking
now.
the reins.
I've got my big boy pants on with my big boy keyboard. I'm your host.
With the big boy.
It's a late show for you guys. I'm your host, Sam Colbert. Okay, we got Thiccboi with us today, everyone. Put your hands together for good old Thiccboi.
What's going on, everybody?
Ralph is still away at the moment. Ralph is away. He is doing his vacation, his planned scheduled vacation. Everyone does deserve a holiday, okay? So Ralph deserves a holiday. He's going to take only 4 days off, then work for the next 7 years straight. So he's off for a little bit. But we've got Thiccboi here today. Okay?
What's going on, everybody?
We don't have Pizza Ralph today, okay?
It's good to be here.
No sleepy Pizza Ralph, although he was very good on the stream. We do appreciate that he was here. He is not here today. So, Alec, tell me, how was your week, man? That's how we start on Layman.
All right.
How was your week, man? Tell me.
My week was good, so I
did you
had
do?
my wisdom teeth out, 2 days ago?
Yep.
No, 3 days ago. So if I sound a little bit different, that's why. I'm trying to keep a bit relaxed.
Well, you sound like a loser to me.
Yeah, well, you know, consistency is key.
Consistency is key.
So I've been spending a lot of time on the couch, and
No, Thiccboi on the couch all the time? Holy shit.
Doesn't happen by accident.
What the hell?
And I've actually been playing Death Stranding. So I missed Death Stranding last year for whatever reason. What was it, November last year? I don't know what I was playing. I would have been playing something else.
Overwatch.
No, something else. And yeah, I never had the time to actually go back and... I never had the time to go back and visit it because, well, just it's a long game.
Yeah. It's
I've been on the couch all week and I've been playing it, and it is very good.
Very alien for Alec to be on the couch.
I don't know why it's good, but it's really, really good. We was having this conversation.
It's one of my favourite games of 2019.
I just don't know why it's good. You're literally just walking around delivering packages, but just the way it's built makes it unreal.
Definitely. I think it's, and
It's got such a distinct Kojima flavor. I mean, I guess it's probably not bad to talk about now because the Steam release has just happened. Because it just came out on Steam last week. But I'm playing on PS4. Loving it. So that was my week.
It is very good.
And Overwatch, I played a couple rounds of that. I'm getting a little bit back into that, sort of. We were
Smash.
playing Smash about 15
We were just playing Smash about
ago.
15 minutes ago in the studio.
Just before the stream.
Getting warmed up, everybody.
And yeah, that's about it. What about you?
I played Rogue Company this week. Rogue Company is shaping up to be, I think, a fantastic game. Something that I would have never expected. I just jumped on thinking, cool, this is going to be part of the stock standard review cycle. We're going to jump on, play for a bit, and then... But I actually have bought it on Switch. I've got it on PC. I am loving it, to be honest.
So I missed it. Is that out or is that early access?
It's in early access beta.
Okay.
There's 3 different tiers at the moment. You can buy one in Aussie like for $22, $50, and then $90 for all the characters and everything. I bought the $22 one, okay? YouTube in life, okay? And I'm actually thoroughly enjoying it.
He was saying that it's actually usurping Overwatch's place as his go-to shooter.
At the moment, yeah. I'm actually
You're really digging it.
Really digging it, people.
Yeah.
Really digging it. We've got a few super chats. Let's get to it first. So... Francois Bergmans. Oh, that's right. Ralph has told me before, it's so hard to go across and read with the particular studio app. It actually is like, this meme is going to give me nightmares. Thanks. Which meme are we talking about? Oh, maybe
just this whole stream.
Maybe it's the thumbnail. Or it could be the stream.
Oh, it actually could be the thumbnail of the Halo Infinite.
Token 91 for $5 dudes. Where did you hide Ralph's body? Inside that big boy.
Don't look inside here.
Ralph could fit in there because Alec is a big boy.
Big and beautiful.
Neil Van Coolen for New Zealand dollars, $10, which is about $1 Aussie or so. Big ups for New Zealand lads. Cheers for the content. Day one fan. Love you too, man. Well, he didn't say we love you, but we're saying that we love you.
We are assuming that you love us.
We are assuming.
And then we in turn love you back.
That you love us.
So,
okay.
Thank you.
So there's a lot to get through today. So let's start with everything we need to know about first Nintendo Direct. Now, this is the particular article that we're going to look at today. But the Nintendo Direct Mini. Now
I really like this. I actually really like this format. Get it
I'm
to
in
me
two
in
minds.
8 minutes,
Yep.
9 minutes. Just smash it out. There's no nonsense developer talk about how we're creating worlds that can be experienced by each player uniquely. It's just like, here's our 4 games.
Look, I agree with you. I think that they did everything they possibly could to maybe present this in the way that the expectations were correctly positioned. They called it Direct Mini. I don't think that they were going, guys, this is our biggest Direct yet. The last Direct I believe we've actually seen in its full format wasn't what it was last year's September. So I believe it's been quite a while.
It has been a long time since a proper Direct.
A full Direct.
I wouldn't say it's last September. But I
think I read
don't know,
that,
maybe
actually.
with COVID, maybe they just haven't been putting stuff
Yeah,
out.
I think I read that, and it did say that it's been.
I think they've done some game-specific ones. Like they've done like, I don't know if it's like a Pokemon one.
Yeah.
They certainly did a Smash one for Min Min. But yeah, I can't remember the last one, or it's been a while since they've done their proper Direct where they introduce new games and, you know, do the whole 1 hour long spiel.
Yeah, look, I don't think that this was a terrible showing in terms of them saying it's a mini Direct. They're trying to show their third-party developers and studios. I think that the problem here is, of course, a lot of people now, if it has been September last year, it's been a while now. We are used to seeing a Nintendo Direct in some format in like every 3 to 6 months, right? Well, 3 months actually. You know, so a lot of people are like, well, like, where do games out? Now, COVID, obviously, a lot of these studios have been working at home, or a lot of things have pushed back publicly or secretly, of course. So maybe they just don't have a lot to show right now.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like with Nintendo, you just always know that they're working on something that you.
I agree.
If you like Nintendo, they're probably working on something that you're going to like.
I have no doubt that they've got some cool titles in the works. Look, Paper Mario came out recently.
That was mixed.
That was mixed.
Reception.
That was mixed.
It got like an 8.0 on IGN.
Which is like a 1 out of 10
Yeah,
on
which is
IGN.
cataclysmic failure.
yeah. If it's an 8 out of 10 for a friggin' Mario game
on
in any
IGN,
capacity,
they're being
bad. Okay.
But
Too much paper. So
Nintendo's release schedule has been pretty light lately. But I mean, look, we know Metroid Prime 4 is coming maybe on the Switch 3.
Switch 3?
As in, it's a long way away, like the third Nintendo Switch.
Okay, okay.
But in terms of what they're working on, I mean, they've got to be working on a Mario. There were apparently big plans for that 30th anniversary Mario big collection.
Yeah, well,
but again, this is all hearsay.
This is all speculation.
I mean, it would be nice for Nintendo to come out and say, "Here's what we're working on." And I guess we didn't get that with this little Direct Mini. What we did get is the announcement of Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is a very big announcement. I haven't played the Shin Megami Tensei games, but I know how big I played Persona, which I guess is a spin-off.
Yeah,
but I never played the proper franchise, and I'm assuming you haven't too.
I mean, what do you mean? I played them all.
100%.
Come on, man.
So that's a very big announcement for fans, considering how long ago Tensei 4 came out. And then there's also the HD remaster of Shin Megami 3.
3, I believe. Or maybe it was 4. No, 3.
I think it was 3, yeah. So,
and then, of course, we saw some Road Company stuff in there. We saw the
WWE thing, which actually I think looks awesome.
Looks kind of fun.
So basically, one of my favorite games growing up was NBA Street.
That was a lot of fun, that game.
Because it was just NBA, but with stupid elements. Yeah, this gave me those kind of vibes. Like, if I can just play... I don't like wrestling. I think the old ones from the 90s are interesting, but I don't like... I'm not invested.
I'm not a wrestling
Unless
fan.
it's Stardust. I'm not really into wrestling. But the WWE, whatever it's called... I don't even remember what it's called.
WWE SmackDown.
Is it? No, that's what SmackDown is.
Oh,
yeah. Anyway,
no, but
there's
there's games called SmackDown. Are you talking about this particular game that they're bringing out?
Yeah. It looks like the NBA Street version of WWE, so I'm into that. I won't play it. I probably won't play it.
This one here.
But I think if it was in front of me and I played it, I might have a good time. Having a look at it. And then the Cadence of Hyrule.
Battlegrounds is called.
Battlegrounds, yeah. So it was quite a light little drop of info. Nothing too much to dwell on, but it would be nice to see some proper Nintendo stuff soon.
It would be nice. Let's do some super chats. That's actually the main story notes, but we're going to do it anyway. Benjamin Gingras. Gingras. I knew that. Canadian dollars, $10. How do you feel about Halo Infinite? I was personally cringing in the gameplay. Also, you guys are looking thick. Thank you
sir.
much.
Well, this is my second coffee.
This is actually my second coffee, my large second coffee. We will get to Halo in just a bit, but we
will get there.
Not overly
We're not
pleased.
ignoring you. But
we are ignoring you. That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, we're ignoring you.
He's trying to skillfully say that we are ignoring you. Okay, Angel grants $5. I feel like Microsoft is caught in a tug of war between what's good for Xbox and what's good for Game Pass. Interesting. Yeah, I do feel like, of course... I do feel like Game Pass can be good for the consumer and for Xbox. There's also some details coming out recently that it's paying off for them in terms of... it's making them a decent amount of money and it's getting more people playing on the platform, which is good. Enjoy
the Xbox Showcase.
Fabster for 20 Canadian dollars. I enjoyed the Xbox Showcase until I watched YouTubers' reactions. I'm too used to older games to notice the low fidelity and reminding myself it's supposed to be a big showcase of next gen. A lot of people were expecting actual next gen, but let's face it, it wasn't really looking like next gen. It looked like late PS3.
Look, I mean,
no, it didn't look like PS3, but it looked current gen. It did look current gen.
We will get to that. We will get to that.
And we'll do one more super chat before we move on. Raymond, I challenge you to play Demon Souls PS5 on stream. We wish to see all of Sam's casual gamer tears. I will not.
Demon Souls is brilliant.
I will not put you through that, guys, because it is going to be very sad for y'all, and we don't want to do that to you. Don Wild, he's in the chat.
Hermetica refund.
What's that? Don Wild's a good friend of ours, actually.
Very good friend of mine. Anyway, it's a long story, but he owes me $20 from last November because I bought something from him that I never got.
Really?
Like, as a joke, I bought it, and as a joke, I guess he didn't ship it. So now I finally got my money back. So
very nice.
That's hectic.
And we got Shill Up in the chat, everybody. $5. I'm taking that money. Okay, Ralph, I'm taking that money. Discovered this is a really cool game called Stalker. Could be big one day. Check it out. Ralph's so funny.
Yeah, Sam was very popular for not knowing Stalker.
Mods, can you just ban that guy, please? We don't like him in the chat.
Silence and
I'm
ban
finding him toxic, personally, so I don't wish for him to be in the chat anymore. Anyway, let's get back to the stream.
Yep.
Well, we got one actually here quickly. Adam, good to see you guys. What is Thiccboi eating today? He's eating a lot today.
Well, I'm actually not eating much because I've had my wisdom teeth out.
True.
So I
thought he'd be losing weight, but in reality, he's been going to Macca's getting those thick shakes and stuff.
Yeah, I had a thick shake for dinner 2 nights ago, and over the last 48 hours, I've had 1.5 litres of jelly.
Oh, nice. That's good. That's good to hear.
So it's been good.
All right.
Back to it.
Now, a lot of people have been wondering what the hell is going on with Dragon Age. Where Dragon Age at? Dragon Age 4, of course, has been, it's coming.
Silently worked on. But that silence had a whimper in the form of a tweet from Mark Darrah, who said simply, I realise that most of you are here for Dragon Age, and Mark Darrah obviously works at BioWare. I realise that most of you are here for Dragon Age news, and there hasn't been a lot of that lately. Let me just run down some things I think you missed to see. I can say, we are working on the next Dragon Age, point number 1. Number 2, yes, we are working from home. Working from home is harder, and we are making progress.
Making progress, everybody. So look, they are trying to say, look, guys, chill. We know you're wondering where the game at. It's coming. We promise you. Just let us chill. Yeah. And these unforeseen circumstances are pushing this into territory, which is making it a little bit harder.
Yeah,
but
and I think this is a really important game for BioWare as well. With the mixed success that was Anthem.
Anthem was fantastic. I'm looking forward to Anthem next.
So the failures of Anthem, the failures of Mass Effect Andromeda, the failures of Dragon Age Inquisition. They haven't really had a win on the board
since KOTOR. No, since Mass Effect. Well,
yeah, I mean, for me at least, the BioWare lost relevancy at around Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3. What's that, 10 years ago? So this is a really big moment for them with the new Dragon Age.
They were definitely laying
to
golden
come back and I guess, get some runs back on the board and sort of win back a bit of good faith.
Yeah. They were definitely laying some golden eggs for quite a long time. I mean, I loved, of course, KOTOR 1 and 2. I played a little bit of Mass Effect 1. I haven't actually gone and played those games.
This is Jade Empire as well, you remember that?
Jade Empire was also fantastic. That was also very similar in the KOTOR vein. I think they were onto a winning thing back in the day, but it doesn't seem like they're on that same trajectory in terms of golden eggs.
So we'll see.
We will see. Now, next story. Swing you through the city like never before this is from Insomniac Games on Twitter. Never before on PS5 with additional 4K 60 FPS performance mode. Who's not going to want to play 60 FPS swinging through the clouds?
For me, this is curious, and a few other people down by the bottom actually mentioned this. So, with the inclusion of 4K/60 FPS...
It means both.
Does it mean both?
It does
because
sound like it
normally
means
slash
both.
Denotes an or.
Well, this is the thing, right?
So is it with an optional 4K/60 FPS performance mode, as in one or the other? Because
I would hope to see that because, like, our current gen, we are having to choose between 4K tiles. It's not true 4K, the checkerboard, or running at performance mode 60 FPS. If they're offering that again for the next gen, it feels like we haven't moved forward in that particular space, and that's the space that I want to move forward in more than anything.
Yeah.
In terms of just very nice, smooth frame rates.
Well, I haven't read all the technical sides of everything, but there seems to be a lot of the thought amongst people on comments and Reddit boards and everything is that PS5 will struggle / not be able to render games in 4K 60 FPS just as a limitation of its hardware. So I mean, I don't know if this is this is a tweet to maybe silence those concerns, or I don't know if those concerns hold water, because the Series X is a bit of a beast, and from what they're saying, the PS5 isn't quite at that level. So it would be nice to have some clarity on this particular tweet and say, why doesn't it say with an additional 4K running at 60 FPS?
Look, I hear what you're saying. I think there was a little bit of confusion when they were talking about the specs, but look, as we've seen, as people have kind of like opened up the box of the tech and spoken about it, that the PS5 is still extremely powerful. It's just developed in a certain way that it's a little bit more nimble in the way that they've actually created it. And it's not to say that it's not going to be very close in power to the Xbox Series X. It's just built in a different way. But yeah, we are yet to see real comparisons, of course, until these actually come out. But it sounds like the way that the technology is put forward in terms of PlayStation, it's just slightly different, a bit more nimble, a bit more maybe versatile. But it's going to, and hopefully that will also mean that it's still pretty damn powerful.
I'm not concerned.
You're not
Sony have
concerned?
been hitting it out of the park for the last couple of years.
The thing is,
and I got a good PCC. So if I want,
he's got PCC.
PCC.
He's got PCC.
I'm playing too much Death Stranding.
PCC. Now, listen, this is the thing. We are seeing now, time and time again, that power is not everything. Power is not what sells units. I'm sorry, but it's not. 4K, most powerful console ever. It doesn't matter. Nintendo is the shittest console in terms of its power, and it sells like hotcakes. It's about what you're playing, not how it looks in terms of fidelity or 4K and shit like that. But look, we actually want to touch on
the old discussion point. Does it matter about games, or does it matter about graphics?
I've always thought it mattered about games. I think anyone that actually plays a lot of games, because I'm a hardcore gamer. I'm sitting in the hardcore game spot today.
Yeah, he's on the other side. That means he plays lots of games.
I play a lot of games. Now, guys, we want to touch on something today that we didn't actually get a chance to. Now, there has been, of course, a lot coming out about the Ubisoft family, the Ubisoft companies, the umbrella companies in general, over the last few days, last week or so. Now, Jason Schreier has done a lot of investigative reporting on this and brought a lot of this to light. Now,
Jim Sterling also did quite a good video on it, discussing it all. So if you can't get into the Bloomberg paywall, and you can put up with some fairly coarse language, which is Jim's sort of
way.
more endearing characteristics.
Jim's way.
He's got on his latest Jimquisition, I think he does a good video talking about everything that's happening at Ubisoft, sort of globally, across all of its branches in Europe and in North America, of some pretty big issues regarding abuse. And a bit of a bro culture, and it being a bit hard for women to they feel like they don't really fit within the Ubisoft business.
Yep.
And Jason's write-up of it is actually quite good. So if you can get into the article, I would encourage you to read it.
Definitely. Look, I mean, I think we've seen this stuff before in terms of bro culture. There's a lot of systemic issues that have been brought up here in terms of the Ubisoft culture. We've seen it with Riot Games, bro culture, inappropriate comments, just sexual misconduct in the workplace in general. It seems like this is actually happening again with Ubisoft.
And there were a few people within Ubisoft that the Ubisoft staff thought were untouchable. They have since been removed. A big example being Serge Hascote, who was sort of
he's the gatekeeper.
A lot of people have spoken about him, so we're kind of retreading ground. But he's the guy who really made or broke a new Ubisoft franchise or existing franchises. He would basically give them the creative direction, and he is, from all accounts, the reason that Ubisoft's games have such a distinct Ubisoft flavour, which has unfortunately begun to fatigue.
Definitely.
And the write-up goes into why, he was running out of his creative juices. But, if you look at Far Cry, you look at Assassin's Creed, they they sort of all feel the same. You've got a big open world map, checkpoints, map markers, things to do.
Yeah.
And that's because this Surge guy was all across Ubisoft's business. And on top of, that, he was also not a very pleasant character to be around at times. So the fact that he's been removed from his post
says a lot.
Is a big moment.
It says a lot. I think that I think there's a lot of speculation at the moment also about how much did the CEO actually know about all these kind of things. Now he's come out and of course made some murky comments trying to make it sound like he never knew or something of that nature. Of course. Now look, Sergei Haskell was the number 2 man. He was an extremely powerful figure in Ubisoft. For him to be taken away shows that Ubisoft is really paying attention to this now and wanting to make sure that they put their best foot forward moving forward.
Yeah, because people are watching them now.
Definitely.
And that's the thing.
And we've covered this before. We covered it slightly, I should say, at Ubisoft Forward pre-show. We talked about while some of these allegations were surfacing and more discussion was being brought around this. But look, again, we feel like the words of Jason Schreier and also Jim Sterling, we would only be echoing some of those things because I just feel like how they've put it forward is the best succinct way to actually put to talk about these issues. And it's a shame that we are seeing this in Ubisoft, but I am glad that all this is coming to light. So it is that they are being held accountable, and I do feel like going forward, the way that we look at Ubisoft games are going to have to change in the way that
I think it needs to be. It needs to be in the conversation.
It needs to be part of the conversation.
Yeah, it definitely does, because all this splitting of the product of a company with how the company is run, it's sort of. Yeah, you need to bring up both simultaneously, as Jim says, because those products are produced by the people within the company, and if the people within that company don't feel like they work in an environment that is comfortable for them, then making some noise might bring on some change. So that's good. That's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
That's a good thing.
I just hope to see that in the next coming weeks and months that we will see seismic changes within Ubisoft in terms of their culture. We're going to start seeing more and more things popping up in terms of good stories about how they're moving forward. And also, because there has been a change of guard, I'm guessing we'll also see some changes within those games too. But
yeah, so
the changes within the games is actually a small part of the story. I don't want to actually focus too much on that because that's not really the what I think we should focus on this particular one. But having said that,
certainly would be interesting to see though.
It will be definitely interesting to see what they actually do with that. Having said that, on top of that, there are some things also about Cassandra. Was supposed to be the lead in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but Ubisoft said women don't sell. Now, man, let me just, I gotta say, Samus, Tomb Raider, Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata, Last of Us 2, even though people didn't love it, it sold like hotcakes. I've got to say, man, Ubisoft is onto something. I just think that's fundamentally untrue. We've seen now since the 90s, Metro being one of the most important IPs that Nintendo owns, to come out and say that women don't sell in games is fundamentally, of course, incorrect. And I think the data, I honestly think the data actually suggests that actually supports that. So,
yeah, I agree. I think if you're able to create a great story and market it properly, and the game is good, it doesn't matter who the protagonist is, unless just the protagonist works within the context of the story.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. Now, I will say that Ubisoft has come out in the past and said every single game will have a man and woman that you can play. I don't necessarily agree with that, because I feel like if you want to tell a particular story, it's okay to only make a female protagonist.
I agree.
Or only make a male protagonist.
I actually hate that cookie cutter stuff where it's like, you can basically slot whoever you want in there, and so that person, male or female, works in all gameplay scenarios. Like, I think it's good if you're actually able to just take a step back, make a choice. If you've got a great story for a male character, go for it. If you've got a great story for a female character, go for it.
Yeah.
But just go all in on it and just deliver that story, that game, like to its fullest capability, with the confidence in your protagonist.
I agree.
And I think this fence sitting that Ubisoft does actually really, for me at least, it kind of makes their games feel a bit soulless. When you play Last of Us, again, say what you will about it, like, there is some soul in those characters, because they have been written, maybe you might not think they were written well, but they've been written to the nth degree. The character has a real life to it. But if it's just, like basically at the start of the game, you choose male, female, and their stance changes like this, you're like, what's going on here? And you just don't really care.
Anyway, look, I hear what you're saying, but I just, I feel like there's certain stories that will need to have, I think, certain types of characters, and maybe in the future they will change that, or maybe they'll just want to stick to what they're doing. Look, at the end of the day, it's not a make or break. It's not the end of the world. It's just a particular view that I think certain games can bring the best out of the story if you play, as a female or as a male. But plenty of stories you can also play as both. But look, but it's true. Okay. But I know you do agree. Okay, so Francois Bergman's Is it Bergman's or Bergman's?
I'd say it's Bergman's.
Bergman's. Okay, now for £5, Ralph stole all his opinions and €5, I should say. Stole all his opinions and reviews from a small YouTuber called SkillUp. He should resign and apologize. Ralph, are you Philip Muselk? Tell us now.
Philip Muselk?
Are you Philip Muselk? Philip Muselk. I did that again on stream too. Philip Musen. Philip Muselk.
I can't laugh properly because of my wisdom teeth.
He can't laugh properly. That's right. Right. Thank you very much for your donation. Nicholas Sinnett for $5. Freedom dollars. Thank you. Thiccboi looking thick. And Sam, you got mad. A bedhead and bags under your eyes. You good, bro? I appreciate that.
He's had 4 shots of coffee and he still looks this good.
Nice. I mean, I don't need any coffee to look this good, everybody. Okay, Joshua for $4.99. Hey, Sam, you're great. Hey, Thiccboi, my question to you, let's see if I can drag this over, to you is this: what's the biggest lesson life has taught you? I want to hear this, man. What's the
biggest lesson life has taught me?
If you think you're full, you're not yet. Just go to the bathroom, just take a moment, then come back and you can finish that meal.
Well, it was funny. A mate of mine said, we were discussing at dinner the other night, if you were to something for your own good, what would it be? And some people, one of them was, you'd be too proud for your own good. We ran around the table and the universal consensus for mine was, you're too hungry for your own good.
I would definitely agree.
That's probably the biggest life lesson that I've learned, is that I'm too hungry for my own good.
I agree. Zandrew, good old mod, thank you very much, buddy, for $5 reduce. Good to see you, mate. Morning, mates. Got a hat ready for y'all for Halo Infinite. Ooh, that could be very true. We may be seeing that part of the Dead Hat gang in the back there. We'll do a couple more super chats and we'll get back to it. Ash K. Jagadish, he has come back before. Good to see you again, my friend. $4.99. Sam, next time Ralph says, can I just turn to him and say, fuck no.
He does like saying, can I just say?
I just want to talk about my higher level thoughts. My highest level thoughts first. That's what Ralph loves to say. My highest level thoughts. Yes, my highest level thoughts of the boat runner for him.
So welcome back, everybody. This is the Roast Ralph stream.
This is the Roast Ralph stream. Okay, now we get to talk Ralph in the way that we really want to talk about him. He sucks, okay? Okay, that's all I have to say. Now, we got more super chats? We got a lot of super chats.
You're going way too high up, dude.
Have I?
Yeah, ilch.
Where's Ralph? Thiccboi brings. Okay, here we go. One more actually before we get back
Ralph?
to it. Yes, Nandor, Zabu, Huffington points, Hufflepuff points.
1,000 Hufflepuff points.
1,000. Thank you very much. Where's Ralph? Thiccboi brings a lot of testosterone to the layman. Stream is giving off major vibes. Jokes, but are you joking?
I can't help it.
Are you joking though?
I can't help it.
That is the question. Now, back on Ubi, not really the main story, but I love making that noise. Ubisoft also is set to bring their games at current price for the holiday season, but may go up next year. Now, we are seeing this happening more and more with games that are coming out. 2K21.
Take-Two. So Take-Two basically across their whole business are going to be charging $70 for next-gen games, whilst the current-gen games, same game, same everything, is $60. So, I mean, this doesn't really surprise me. It's going back a while now, but I do remember I was working at EB Games, which is like the it's like the GameStop equivalent in Australia.
Yeah.
And I recall when the PlayStation 4 launched, we were selling those games. We were selling next-gen games for $10 more. That always corrects. I mean, at least it corrected in our instance. I mean, those games were launched for $110. Now you get games here for $69. So, I mean, it's good to see that Ubisoft are going in, I wouldn't say with good intentions. I think they're just playing it safe.
Look, I just think that, we have seen now over the last 20 years pretty much the same pricing. I feel like some people will get upset, of course, at the idea of games going up $10, but I mean, we've just got to look at games in general. I mean, there's an argument out there saying that games are getting cheaper in the way that they are being developed since 2013. There's some graphs and data out there showing that it's going down, but the bottom line is we haven't seen any price. So this is not going in line with inflation. It's not going in line with salaries going up. And we're talking all the time about, developers in general that are making not a lot of, they're not making great money for what they do. And let's face it though, this is the actual problem with this. If this was to go up $10, this money's not going to go to the developers, it's just going to go to the execs, which does suck. But look, I'm okay with spending another $10 for a game if it means that company in general has a bit more of a financial cash actual amount just to sit on for the next games, for updates, for DLCs, to know that they've got a little bit more cash in the reserves if they need it.
I think this is purely speculation, but I wonder if any of this is a response to just the general negative discourse around Ubisoft at the moment. I mean, it's hard to say. I don't know if it's a show of good faith or trying to, maybe get back into the I don't know.
The goodwill.
The good whatever you call it. Goodwill of people.
The good whatever you
call it. The goodwill of people. I mean, maybe I'm giving Ubisoft too much credit in that department, but I don't know. I think it's a positive thing given how much they cram microtransactions into most of their games. I think in the case of 2K, they not only have all those microtransactions, but they're increasing the price. I think it's good that if Ubisoft are going to keep the live service model for a lot of their games and, do a lot of continuing player revenue, I think as they call it, it's good that they maybe keep that entry price the same.
I do feel like, if it's not now, if it's next year, it is interesting to see that they've strategically put it that next year we can expect those next prices. Now, COVID.
Well, no, it doesn't say that in the article. Actually, it just speculates.
Okay.
So the earnings call, to be precise, the earnings call said that we're not going to be. Our retail games for the next generation consoles are going to be $60 in this holiday period.
Sure.
Or when the consoles launch, rather.
I think also because...
So it doesn't say emphatically one way or the other.
Sure. I do feel like because we're also in COVID right now, there's a lot of companies that may have wished to increase their pricing, but they feel like it's just not the right time, which is also a valid argument. So I can see there's a few avenues in this to see how you may arrive at $70 per game, or you would stay at $60 per game. But...
Moving on.
Speaking of a terrible segue, players are furious as Hyperscape is already flooded with hackers. So there's the hackers already in Ubisoft. So it's been a great week for Ubisoft.
So hacking has been very problematic for Battle Royale as a genre.
I mean, games in general. I mean,
but I don't know.
Counter-Strike also, back in the day when you could just put those... I mean, I never did it, but I know people... you could, of course, get those automatic headshot stuff. We've all come into contact with
good old aimbot, wall hacks,
all that.
So look, but I think it's interesting for I don't know, with Battle Royale, it seems to be a particularly pervasive problem. I mean, I used to play Apex Legends. I stopped playing just because I stopped playing, but a good mate of mine,
that's a good reason,
the one who gave me the Hermetica refund, he stopped playing Apex because of all the hackers.
Yeah.
So he couldn't actually go in there and get couldn't get a fair game. PUBG had so many hackers. Again, to the detriment of the game, and they had to introduce all this anti-cheat software. But I don't know about if Fortnite had any issues. I mean, probably, but it seems to be a problem that's very common in Battle Royale games.
Fortnite's pretty good, apparently. Look, I was speaking to Elliot Muselk actually, because he's a hardcore Fortnite streamer, and he was just mentioning to me last week that the anti-cheat is pretty damn good with Fortnite. You don't come across them much at all, because the actual thing about it can be a business killer. PUBG is now stained with the idea that there is cheaters everywhere, and that fundamentally affects the business because not only is PUBG now, of course, you have to pay for it, but in such a free-to-play marketplace, if your game becomes one of the sad few that is tagged as, there's heaps of cheaters, I can just go to another free-to-play game. There's nothing that is keeping me there. And I feel like that is... It can destroy businesses. It can destroy games because people don't have the confidence. And if that person has killed me, I don't know if that was skill. I don't know if he's cheating. So it's a huge problem, and we're seeing this more and more. And I think that with all the efforts that all these companies are doing to mitigate this whole cheating problem, it always seems to be a thing. Now we also know that we've seen other companies now. With Valorant do the zero kernel idea, where they actually put the cheating pretty much baked into your entire system, the anti-cheat into your entire system. Some people didn't like that, but I feel like, and I agree why you wouldn't like that. I mean, no one wants the idea of installing a particular program and then it completely kind of spreads its tentacles throughout your entire computer. but they're obviously having to explore those options because the idea of not having a very rock solid anti-cheat can be the detriment of your entire game. So it is big problemos, everybody. Speaking of problemos, another great segue. Super chats, whatever, right? Phase 7, number $5. Thank you very much. What's your smash tags? I want to know if I've beat you online. Mine is Lamon with the little thing on the A.
I actually don't play online.
Alec does not play online.
Thousands of hours in Smash, and Sam only beat me once this morning. We probably played 40 minutes. I'm a lot better than him.
I 3-stocked you in the last one.
That doesn't matter.
Thank you.
So I never play online, but my Smash tag is pun.
Pun.
So I only play offline. Yeah. Maybe I'll jump online if you do see me. Pun it is.
Pun it is.
And I will beat you.
Chris Seivert, 50 euros. Thank you very much, man. I love your album, Sam. Hi, Alec. That's great. That is great. I love your album, Sam. Hi, Alec.
I'm just happy I'm included.
Oh, that's nice.
I love you too, Chris.
We love you. See, someone said that they did love us, so we can say we love you back this time. Biggie Dubs, if by women don't sell they mean sensitive women don't sell, then yes. Well, thank you very much for the donation. We won't touch that.
That's great.
Moving on. John Hammond. Oh, John Hammond. Thank you very much. $4.99. Where'd you boys get the Majora's Mask? And how much? Well, I actually bought that for Ralph's Christmas present in 2018 because I am a good dude. But it actually just found its way to our office, which is nice.
$13. He's a cheapskate.
Got it from King's Comics in the city in Sydney.
Who makes it though? I think
no, it's an official thing. That's an official.
It's made by somebody though.
No, but it's partnered officially with thingy. So
yeah, sure. But I'm not sure. It's basically the big. Like, how much was it? You want to say?
Oh yeah, it was like $700.
Yeah. I just want to show if Ralph wanted to know.
No, it was $4,000. So Ralph, you owe me $4,000, bro. Right?
It is a very nice one.
It's a very nice one. Marky Mint for a 99 cents, I should say, for a pill emoji
with the turd.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you for the turd.
I appreciate that, my dude. Dr. Elron Tyrell Rosson. Okay, $9.99. Bro culture and extreme crunch makes studios less productive in the long term due to burnout and lack of diverse viewpoints from developers, in my opinion. Thanks for highlighting these topics. I do agree. I think if there's more voices, there's going to be more interesting games or more people challenging the status quo in games. So I do agree with that. Jamie Tierpok, $5. At least Thiccboi is still awake. Very true.
I'm here.
Very true. Thiccboi.
Two coffees. It could have gone either way, but now I'm
Ralph was very tired on the stream, but again, it was good to see him.
Coffee.
So, we'll do a couple more super chats before we move on. Ban Cirky, $2 Australian. Thiccboi makes me a Thiccboi. Ooh, that's quite good.
Your appreciation is appreciated.
That's very nice. Another 1,000 Hufflepuff points. Sam, have you ever thought about song name? Shit metaphor featuring Thiccboi. Sounds Grammy material. If you ask me, I like it.
I'd listen to that mainly because I'm involved.
I think we should do that. The Titanic. We'll just make a song about. Okay, so Alfred. Okay, one more and then we'll continue. Obi Alfred, $5, bro. You look like a different person now. Thiccboi. Me or Thiccboi?
Is it about me?
I don't know. Maybe
if it's about me, I'm gonna assume it's in all positive metrics, and if it's about Sam, then yes, it is all in negative way.
What he's saying is Alec is looking like.
So your observation, Obi, is appreciated.
You're looking like a
accurate
thick ball of oatmeal, Alec. That's what you are looking like right now. Okay. Okay. So everybody now AOC. Okay.
Here's a big story.
This is a big story, okay? Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez,
also known as AOC.
AOC is probably the easier way to actually say this whole thing. Now, we do know that the last... I'm going to skip between two things here so we can actually see what we're talking about. So, there's been, for the last couple of weeks, I believe it's about 2 weeks now, we've seen that there's a particular Twitch account that is owned by the US Army, and they have now thought it was a great idea to try and promote enrolling in the army through
Yeah.
Twitch. They want to get access, of course, to young kids that may not sure what they want to do or whatever, and maybe they join the army. So what the army was doing on Twitch was they were actually saying there's a giveaway. Press on the link and there's a giveaway. Jump in, baby, and you can win a prize. There was no giveaway. You press on it.
Yeah, this is really bizarre.
And you would actually just be given an enrollment form or recruitment form in some fashion for you to, enlist or whatever, right? Now, this caught the attention of a lot of people in Congress, and of course a lot of the media outlets going, hey, Army, what's going on here? That's not cool whatsoever. Since then, war is not a game. ASO to file an amendment banning US military from recruiting on Twitch. And this is scheduled to be an amendment in here that, there we go, prohibits the use of funds for recruiting via video gaming and esports platforms. May not make it to the final bill. So in terms of that, may not be the final wording, or it may not even actually get into the final bill. I don't know. But I hope that is not something that they continue to do, because, man, that's pretty shifty, man. I don't want to feel like the Australian government's like, come for a giveaway, win a car. And you're like, hey, I'm here to collect my car. Get on the ground, son.
There is no car, but have you heard about the Navy?
Have you heard about the Navy? Or have you ever driven a tank? Okay?
Yvonne Etniage did.
Okay?
No, so look, I think it's weird because I think that, if the military is a very different beast in the United States than it is, at least in Australia. So
Yeah, definitely.
in terms of recruitment and in the United States, and even just how the military personnel within the United States are almost they're held in quite high regard in society.
Of course. You walk into a particular shop and they give you the military discount.
The airport lounge, you get a special waiting area.
Sure.
So they have a different attitude towards military personnel. So I can't really speak to it accurately, but I think that
we're not making commentary on that.
What I mean to say though is
Yeah.
I think that I don't think there's an issue necessarily with the US military or any military, exploring different avenues for recruitment, because at the end of the day, you need recruits for a defense force.
I agree with that, but you can't then go on there and give a link saying it's a giveaway.
100%. So look, I think that as long as the recruitment, I mean, I certainly get ads for army recruiting on video game interests, all over the internet basically.
I've never got a single army recruiting
for the Australian Defence Force.
Oh, I see, in the side.
Yeah, ADF, where they want you to basically, they'll pay for university if you go and join the army.
Yeah.
So I get those ads, and I think a defence force is an important part of a country.
Yeah, sure.
What they need to do is make sure that these giveaways are actual giveaways.
Yeah, actual giveaways.
They can't just be they can't be putting up a fake post saying, as we've just said, here's this amazing thing. Oh wait, amazing thing's not here. Can you come join the army?
Yeah.
So I think that's the big issue here.
But look, since then, after the rant, we are now back to what's been happening since. US Army abandons Twitch plans after multiple controversies. Now, seems like they have now completely abandoned the idea of that, and it goes on to say that it doesn't seem like there's a definitive date that they're ever wishing to come back into the Twitch realm. So it doesn't seem like they're probably ever going to come back.
They're MIA.
The MIA, everybody. Okay, the MIA. I'm glad that we've seen such an uprising on here, because it would have been a real shame if this wasn't spoken about and there wasn't some serious conversations around this, and the US Army just kept continuing to do this. It starts with a fake giveaway, and then what's next? I don't know. Who knows? I don't know, right? You won a car. No, you didn't. You won a trip overseas. Just wear this uniform and just use this gun.
You'll be traveling on this big grey boat.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Where does it end? Where does it end? Speaking of, I love the segues, right? Speaking of army stuff. Okay, that kind of works. Everybody, welcome to our new Lord and Savior. Okay, the Brute. The Brute is looking fantastic. It has been, wow, what a fantastic showcase that we saw. Now, I thought it was probably the best showcase we've ever seen.
So now, this is, I suppose, today's top story. There we go. Now we can talk about it.
I thought it was, personally, it was a disappointing showcase.
What did you think about the showcase? You thought it was disappointing?
We'll get to the Halo gameplay in a moment.
So let's talk about the showcase more, I guess, if you will, high-level thoughts.
Let's talk about our high-level thoughts, everybody. So now, I feel like, look, if we quickly get there, I feel like they really spoke a big game about, it's all going to be about the games, showing the games. And that, of course, I think puts an expectation out there that we are going to see a lot of gameplay. We're going to see a lot of the mechanics of those games. We're going to see a lot of those games fleshed out visually. I don't believe showing a trailer, which was generally what we were seeing, I don't believe that's the way that they should have gone forward. We saw a lot of trailers, a lot of curated CGI moments, a lot of dev talk. And they really made it sound like that was not going to be a thing. And then we got a lot of trailers for a lot of games I wasn't overly hyped for. And this is their biggest moment for next gen.
Yeah. So look, I think it's really interesting that if you contrast Sony's reveal, right, with Microsoft's. Now, Sony's reveal didn't have a lot of gameplay.
Horizon Zero Dawn was.
It didn't have gameplay for that. It didn't have. It had gameplay for what? Gran Turismo. In terms of the gameplay side of things, it was quite light. There was no gameplay for Miles Morales. The difference here is that Sony have already kind of proven themselves. So they're in a position where they can say, we are working on X game. If they say we're working on God of War 2, we don't need to see anything. I mean, it'd be nice to see anything, but we can just sort of sit back and say, phew, God of War 2's coming. I'm feeling pretty good about that.
I think timing matters. I think timing matters. I'll tell you why. Because
what I mean to say is that I think Microsoft have not yet proved themselves. And so I think if they're going to come out and so they had that games, no, they had the Xbox reveal event. Was that in March or May? It was around March, I think, or whatever it was. The one that no one liked, right? Because it had no games, no gameplay, nothing. And then they had the games showcase, which also doesn't have any games. It doesn't have any gameplay. I think that's a big issue for Microsoft here, because whether or not those games are fantastic, whether or not they are complete flops, they have to they're in a real moment where they have to prove themselves and demonstrate why buying an Xbox Series X, or even, I guess, with smart delivery and Xbox One, is a good idea.
Look, I hear you. I think at
with
the moment,
Halo being the only exception, and maybe I think there were 2 other games, there was no gameplay, and that's a problem. I think in their
I think
situation.
timing is important. I think if we're in the middle of the console cycle and we already know that there are plenty of games already out, we've seen what that gen looks like, and you're not wishing to sell. Of course, you're always wanting to sell units, but that's not your primary focus in the next 6 months. I feel like when you are going to be doing a particular showcase, you need to sell that next gen. You need to sell that next gen more than you need to sell the particular concepts that you may be putting forward about games. You need to show us what this next gen is going to look like in the form of games. The best thing, of course, would be strong IP with strong trailers of gameplay trailers. That would be the best of both worlds. But they did not do that, and I feel like this was their final moment. Of course, I think they have said that there is another showcase coming in the future, but this is the one close to E3. This is the major one of the year for me. I was expecting some really big stuff here. We did not see that. We really saw a whole lot of curated content that was kind of dancing around what we really wanted to see, and that was gameplay.
It was basically an hour-long sizzle reel.
Yeah.
So in terms of the showcase itself and what I thought to be interesting, I kind of like the look of that medium game. I thought that looked interesting. It kind of reminded me of Soul Reaver with having like 2 versions of the world.
That's what I actually made commentary on when we were doing the live stream.
Oh, right, yeah.
They were like, no, it's never been done before. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've played Soul Reaver
I guess if they're
before.
rendered at the same time, that's interesting.
I know.
But
It's
what I mean to
different,
say is that it reminded me very much of that.
Yep.
I thought that looked interesting. I guess the...
Fable's exciting.
Fable was like a Skyrim, an Elder Scrolls 6 reveal. It was basically just
actually
a logo.
unclear as to if that was a remake or was that a new one. It just said Fable. It did not say
I'm
Fable
sure
4 or something.
I think it said a new adventure awaits, or yours hasn't been. It said your adventure hasn't been told yet.
Sure.
So there's a new Fable coming, but I mean, obviously the elephant in the room is, other than you, is Halo.
You're the Thiccboi, okay? Now look,
Halo Infinite proved to be quite a divisive little reveal. So a lot of people are saying, and there's a general sentiment that it just wasn't next gen enough for them.
I don't even know if it's about that. Look, I mean, if you really think about it, let's just put the actual graphics aside. It's all about the graphics. Let's put them aside for a second. What did they show? That was the moment where we were really expecting to see some really big moments in terms of what to expect in the campaign. I was also expecting to see some emotional connection to the story that we've seen before, some Cortana moments or something, you know, or, you know, just something that shows that the story isn't all over. But we just saw this weird orc thing, you know, Brute come and do some weird monologue. Maybe
it was very Destiny-esque. Even up to the antagonist. He felt
the White Vader. Remember the White Vader?
Yeah, it just felt like...
Look, I just feel like it was really not demonstrating why this is going to be a system seller. And that was what you needed to do. You needed to show us gigantic, epic moments to experience in this campaign. Now, you've said it's a hub... you've said it's going to be a 10-year plan. It's going to be a hub world. You press on a particular mission or whatever and you jump in. If you're going to show us... Don't show us some enemies just in some grassland that we've kind of seen time and time again, and you're just shooting them and maybe you have a zip line to them once. It really wasn't demonstrating why this is going to be an exceptional game. It really kind of just... It looked like... It almost looked like a concept video that you may show internally of like, hey, this is what we're kind of roughly thinking. There was no gigantic moments to sell to the audience, and that was a big issue with this.
I think the thing with Halo that's so, like, for me, it's a bit sad is that, you know, go back 15 years when, you know, when they were talking about, I guess, well, Halo 2 was what, 2004, 2005? Halo 2 was like,
2004, I believe, yeah. Oh no,
the
2002.
Definition.
2 years after. 2 years after.
Definition of a system. If Halo 1 wasn't a system seller, Halo 2 is up there with the greatest system sellers ever. It's in Mario territory.
Of all
like
time.
Halo was just such a dictionary textbook meaning of phenomenon. People had to have an Xbox. They had to, because they just couldn't not have Halo. It was that important.
Yeah.
And to see where we are now, where there's such a mixed reception of Halo, 5, Halo 4 to some degree for some people, and now Halo Infinite, where the reveal has not been has not met the expectations of a lot of the fans, is a bit sad. And I think, look, I see what they're trying to... there's nothing necessarily wrong with trying to do like a more... Just like... It had an interesting art style in the same way that, you know, Wind Waker kind of had an interesting art style.
Yeah, sure.
But it doesn't necessarily... It has to sort of fit. It has to fit what people have come to expect.
Yep.
There were a lot of screen grabs, and if you scroll down, you'll probably see that... Oh, no, you're not on the right article.
No.
There were screen captures of, you know, contrasting Halo... That's so good. Contrasting Halo Reach's assault rifle with the Halo Infinite assault rifle.
I've seen that one too, yeah.
And I mean, we're talking a game from, 2007 or 2008 with, you know... 2 generations of Xbox later, 13 years later, where your old one looks better than your new one, there might be a little bit of a problem.
I agree with that.
And I guess if they're leveraging the 12 teraflops, you know, Xbox Series X, very powerful, blah, 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 you know, Halo really was a heavy hitter that should have been geared towards demonstrating.
I agree. We've got to move a little bit fast now because we are lagging big time. But I do agree with that. And on top of that, just quickly, well, Halo Infinite, the gameplay demo was running on a goddamn PC, guys. Like, Jesus, that's a bad headline. It doesn't matter. This is the thing, right? If you come out with a particular demo and it's all about next gen, it's all about selling next gen, and then you're like, by the way, they're the same specs, but we've done it on a PC. It doesn't look good. It just does not look good. You really need to put your money where your mouth is and show everything on that particular console, and it needs to run off that console for you to, you know, say it's going to be. It was similar specs to an Xbox Series X, but it was actually running on a PC. That does not look good, and this is another thing that has been a disappointment for a lot of people because I haven't even really seen the game in terms of how it's going to run exactly on a console. Having said that, they are similar specs. It's probably going to be exactly the same. But how you present it is important because it gives confidence to the audience what to expect. So that's going to be, I think, another setback for them personally. Halo Infinite 2 won't be happening, that's right. This is another thing quickly before we move on. They're talking about there's going to be a 10-year plan with Halo. There's
sounds very familiar.
Very, very familiar. What is it? Don't die? No.
So look, I mean, Destiny always came out of the gate saying this was going to be a 10-year plan. We've got a 10-year product.
That's different though, because they said 1, 2, and 3 in terms of, sorry, Destiny 2, and then there's going to be a Destiny 3.
But they made no secrets of the fact that it was going to be a 10-year product.
Yes.
So the live service nature, the hub world, open world, that kind of thing is sounding very Halo Infinite is sounding very similar to that.
Yep.
Which, you know, take what you will. We haven't seen much of it other than an 8-minute gameplay demo. But it sounds very much as though, you know, you've basically got that Halo. I mean, I saw a map with markers on it. I mean, that shows me enough to know that... I
definitely think it's going to be a hub world where you know, are in the war room and you're like looking over it or some shit.
So they ultimately said that they want to make Halo Infinite a 10-year product that doesn't have sequels. It'll be essentially a live evolving service, which, you know, we all know what that means nowadays. So whether it's expansion packs, whether it's microtransactions within the game, doesn't matter. One game, constant updates, which is interesting.
Very interesting. I am excited to see what they do with that, but I do feel like it's becoming more and more Destiny sounding. Now, 1 week later, everybody, it seems like, let me just quickly press this. 1 week later, it looks like Microsoft has already breaking its promise with Xbox Series X. Now, I think it was only a week or two ago. Now, Xbox was like, well, actually, no, it wasn't a week. It was several months ago now that they were making commentary around smart delivery. It was going to be also that everything for the next 2 years was going to be on both platforms. It was a marketing strategy, in my opinion, looking pro-consumer, wanting to make everyone feel like they're included in the next 2 years of what's coming out in the gaming. It's probably going to hurt, of course, their sales slightly, but nonetheless, I think it's a really cool pro-consumer move to allow me or anybody that may not have all the funds in the world to still play what's coming out and what's new and exciting for the next 2 years on Xbox. It seems like they're already maybe not following through with that. Now, 6 or 7 out of the 9 titles that were actually shown at the Xbox conference or showcase did not have at the bottom Xbox Series X and Xbox One. So a lot of the titles were just showing at the bottom here, if you can see that, the Xbox Series X / Windows PC. Now, there are 3 different ways that this may have happened. Number 1, they've just broken their promise and they're actually not going ahead with the 2-year plan of everything. That's a first-party studio is going to be, in fact, on both gens. Or these games that have shown are not coming out for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
That's also a possibility.
So I think that's... Look, I don't think
Forza's coming out in 2023, man. No way.
I think... Look...
The third one, quickly, is that they just stuffed it.
I was going to say, if it wasn't that they just messed up the title cards and they, you know, they didn't include the Xbox One as the relevant platform, that would be ideal. But I don't see it as that. I think for a presentation as large as this, they would probably get it right on the bottom of each title card what systems it's coming on. So in the absence of Xbox One, you would imply that these games aren't coming for over 2 years, which to me doesn't actually seem that unlikely. I mean, I don't know.
Look, I just think it's pretty for me, it's pretty unlikely that the biggest showcase ever that they didn't actually just put Xbox at the bottom of it, unless they just want to feel like it's just standard. Everyone kind of knows that it's going to be on both gens, and they didn't need to put it at the bottom of the title card. That doesn't sound likely, though. Having said that, I do not believe that all these games are 2 years away, man. Like they're coming in the next, probably year or so, if not 6-8 months. So we'll have to see. Let's go do some super chats.
Let's do that.
Jamie Tierpock. Oh, member. Thank you very much.
You
Appreciate
member.
that,
Beautiful.
Man. Obi Alfred, $2. Yo,
again.
Ralph. Oh, Obi Alfred, of course, yes. $2. Yo, Ralph got big. What the fuck? He's a big boy.
A beautiful boy.
Okay. Alex J for $5. Oh my God, Ralph, what happened to you? You look awful. Oh, and hey, Alec. Legit, good to see you back on the show again. Thank you very much.
Missed you too, Alex.
We appreciate
You're a good dude.
Alex's actual name is Alex, so it's quite... Thiccboi, his name is Alec with a C.
We got a thing going on now.
You got a thing going on. Okay, so Agent Red Shift $4.99. Red shirt, I knew that, just testing you. I wouldn't mind paying $80 for a game, but then after that leaves me... that would leave me the hell alone. No microtransactions. Sell me a complete package, etc. The problem with that is I feel like even if they charge $70, a lot of these companies like 2K are still going to jam it full of microtransactions, which they are doing. So that is not going to be, sadly, the future, I think, of a lot of these companies. Although that would be great. That would be great.
Sterling Mount, thank you for your donation.
If by women...
Yeah.
Okay. We're not going to... Thank you very much.
We appreciate you very much.
We appreciate your donation. Okay?
Moving on.
Moving on. Okay. Hunter Kern, $20 freedom
$20. Thank you very much.
20 freedom dollars. So US is freedom dollars.
Oh, they're freedom. Oh, is that an normal?
That's freedom dollars.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
now I'm now a simp for the lame, especially Thiccboi. Consider this as a forward payment on some Gamer Guy bathwater. On a serious note, I love your content. You're one of only 3 channels I click the bell for. Click on the good work. Well, thank you for...
Unfortunately, I use a rag on a stick, so I will snip off a corner for you and post it for you.
Send it for you. Okay, well, thank you very much for touching the bell on that. That's great. So, Nando says more on Huffington, 1,000 Huffington points. Let's get Sam on Thiccboi. Let's get Sam on Thiccboi? I don't know what that... OnlyFans account.
Yeah.
Trending on see if you can confuse Ralph. Thank you very much for your donation.
That would indeed be confusing.
Obi again. ASO is smarter than all IQ Republicans combined. I see. Okay. Thank you very much for the donation. If it wasn't 2 showcases in a row not showing gameplay, it wouldn't have been as abysmal.
I agree. I think that's the sentiments of a lot of people.
I agree with that.
I feel like the big issue is that if they did that sizzle reel in whatever, March or April or whatever, the game showcase with the expectation that there was going to be some gameplay. We didn't get that. It's left people wanting, and I think that's why you're seeing the general negative reception on Xbox's showing.
Yes. Back to a more serious comment. Jetstream Jack £2. Back to the future. More like back to the buffet. Big boy. Hell big
yeah. We have to go back.
You're an idiot. Marius Chassan for 10. That is pounds.
That is pounds.
That's pounds. Okay. Hello, lads. Nice to see Thiccboi. Microsoft Showcase was weak at best, and next gen doesn't sound or feel anything amazing either. Also, people are saying that Halo was running on PC instead of yes, we've covered that. That is a real shame. Dylan Campbell, $5. Do you think the Game Pass will be the big, God, I hate dragging this over, big draw for the new Xbox? I 100% do.
I think Game Pass is a great service.
It's their most attractive thing why you would enter the ecosystem of Xbox.
It really is a great deal.
And there's so many games. So this is the beauty of it. A lot of the first-party studios aren't looking hot right now in terms of a lot of stuff that we have seen. But we are knowing that the Xbox Game Pass allows you to play all the hot stuff that is not on the first-party studios. So, pretty fetch.
Definitely fetch.
Another Obi,
you are very active. We appreciate you.
We do appreciate you, man. I think 343, I just look legit not good devs. Bungie was way better. I'm sure Bungie is looking on from afar going,
Well, look, a lot of the people from Bungie were also, like, there was a bit of cross-pollination from Bungie to 343. I mean, look, I don't know if you can say they're not good devs. I certainly don't think they've really proved themselves.
It's a hard thing to prove, man. It's a hard thing to take Halo and go, look, we're going to take this over and we're going to make it better.
Unfortunately, they're always going to live in the shadow of Bungie unless they really break out and do something, completely revolutionary. I think by the sounds of what Halo Infinite is as a product, this is their opportunity to do it. It's not a mainline Halo entry. It's a new way of presenting Halo over a 10-year plan. And if they can do it correctly, this could be their moment. It just needs to be done.
I agree. Look, we'll do one more super chat, then we'll do a couple of more stories. We may run a little bit over.
We're going over today?
Why not?
But that's all right.
All right, big boy, let's do it. Okay, so Louis G, $5. Love the show. Do you think that Halo is going to be a live service game like Destiny 2? And if so, I will be raging.
Well, yes, I think so.
I think so. It's looking more and more. Look, they've made it clear that it wasn't going to be exactly like Destiny, but as we've seen now, it may be looking at least kind of doing a nod to Destiny. And it would be interesting if they did that. One more, why not? OBR for $2 again. Halo 76 calling it right now. It could be. We shall find out as of yet. Now, this is actually a bit of a worrying story. Rare hasn't discovered Everwild much because it's still playing around with the gameplay ideas. I mean, there's not many games I find that come out with a trailer and there's still
nothing to
figuring it out.
They still don't know.
That's kind of weird. Now, I'm going to say before we even get into this may have been interpreted wrong. He may have said this and actually not really fully meant what was said in this interview. Because it sounds like at the moment that they don't know what really is going on here. So look, part of the reason we haven't talked a lot about Everwild is because we're still filling a lot of these things out. We're still playing around with the gameplay ideas. He could be saying, look, we've got the whole thing down pat. We're just trying to figure out what the core gameplay loop is, which is still a big problem, actually. That's a fundamental still development that you need to do. But It's interesting to see what he's saying here because, look, Everwild is going to be the next thing from Rare. Sea of Memes has turned itself around. A lot of people do like Sea of Thieves now. We could see this in a pretty good space in the it doesn't sound like it's coming out for like at least a year. So in the coming months and year or so, it may find itself in a really good spot. It's looking beautiful.
I just find it odd. It's like building a movie set when you haven't got a script. You're like, what are they?
That's what they did with Gladiator. Apparently, that's what Russell Crowe said. They were rocking up each day and figuring out what they were going to do the next day.
Well, that
worked.
They fucking nailed that.
They nailed that shit, man. They nailed that shit. So if Russell Crowe can do it, Everwild can do it too. Okay, Big Russ is looking Maximus now.
He's looking real Maximus.
He's looking real Maximus.
He's one after my own heart.
He is. Now this is actually a good story for Xbox. Xbox Q4 revenue surges 64%, driven by record engagement amid pandemic. So it looks like in the last quarter, it has been. There we go. Now the important things to note: Microsoft has reported its financial 20 quarter 4 financials with gaming revenue up to 64% year over year, 1.3 billion. The division benefited from the Xbox content and services revenue as demand pushes 65% growth.
Big growth.
The important thing here is Xbox hardware revenue also grew 49%, with Xbox One consoles frequently sold out across the nation. Now, that is big because that's where the money's made. You know, you make a lot of money, of course, in hardware. So if they're actually up 50% nearly, that's good. And to see them actually sold out, that's interesting. Because maybe a lot of people just walked in and wanted to buy a PlayStation. Like, oh, sorry, they're sold out at the moment. Just buy just buy an Xbox instead. Who knows? But it is good to see that they are selling more and more. Yeah. And this could be because the Game Pass is attractive. And a lot of people wanting to jump on with just that ecosystem in its own. I don't know if people would actually spend $500 or $400 just to get on the Game Pass, or maybe they would. I think
a lot of those strong sales numbers were also reflected in other companies. I know that you couldn't get a Switch in Sydney
because it's pandemic time, man.
Correct.
It's pandemic.
Correct. So everyone was staying home and had nothing to do. I guess maybe it could have been. I don't have the data on the other companies, but maybe it was especially good for Xbox because Xbox hasn't had a good run this whole generation. Maybe a lot of people already had a PS4, they already had a Switch, and they're at home bored, and they're like, stuff it. I'm going to go get an Xbox and play what I haven't played.
I'm going to buy an Xbox and play the one game. the one game that I actually want to play on there.
No, they got some good stuff.
Look, they got one or two.
I think it's worth getting an Xbox One just for Ori and the Will of the Wisps. If you don't have...
No, but that's on PC now.
If you don't have a PC.
Yeah, of course.
But that's very good news for Xbox. Hopefully they continue to grow and...
do the stuff.
Yeah, because again, I know it's an old trope, but competition is healthy for the industry.
We want that.
And if they succeed, we all succeed.
Exactly, man. If they succeed, we all succeed.
It's not about how hard you can get hit. Just keep moving forward.
Exactly right. Alec made that quote up. Yeah. Now look, but just before we quickly move on, you're right, because if we were to find that it was only PlayStation and Nintendo, they're kind of different ecosystems. You know what I mean? Like, yes, they cross over, but like they're
doing completely different things.
They're kind of doing completely different things. The only thing holding PlayStation accountable is Xbox. PC is not even doing that because it's like, again, a different ecosystem. Moving on, speaking of ecosystem, Destiny 2 is coming to the Xbox ecosystem on Game Pass. Woohoo! That's pretty cool. It seems like Xbox and Microsoft and Bungie have struck a deal. They're back together, baby.
Back in bed.
They're back in bed together. It was Destiny. I feel like it was Destiny.
Can we move on? That was terrible.
Okay, so it looks like they're now, or you can get all of the previous expansions on Destiny 2. All the way up to access to previous expansions and the upcoming Destiny 2 Beyond Light DLC. I don't believe that Beyond Light is going to be free, though. I feel like everything else up until Beyond Light is going to be free. I may be wrong on that one. But it is looking pretty cool to see Destiny 2 on Game Pass. We are seeing the figures coming out that Game Pass is doing very well for Xbox. It's going to be more and more of an attractive place as a marketing tool for a lot of these development houses. They want to get more eyelids onto their games, eyeballs onto their games.
Eyelids, they're just going to shut their eyes and do this.
Oh man, this looks great.
Oh my God.
This looks amazing. No, but
maybe that's what they were hoping you'd do with Halo reveal. Doesn't matter how it looks, we'll have all their eyelids.
But look, it is good to see that because Destiny has gone from strength to strength after being released from Activision. They've retooled their monetization. They've gone free to play in a lot of capacities.
Yeah.
Now they've also gone onto Game Pass and they're doing this. It's looking good. Now I know a lot of people that are hardcore Destiny are waiting for the next big thing within Destiny. We know the roadmap, but they're waiting for that next content to drop. It has been pushed back now to, I believe it was September to November, or it's been pushed back to September. It's been pushed back to November.
So it's normally annually September. It's now been pushed to November.
Yeah, so it's looking...
It's a good thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's another game coming to Game Pass, which is a good deal for everyone if you have Game Pass. So
Amazing insight right there. Thank you, Alex.
Oh, well, that's that's some high level thoughts.
So some high level thoughts, everybody. Now, Final Fantasy 14 quickly, okay?
Here's another big game being added for free.
This is pretty cool to see. Well, I don't know if it's being... No, it's not adding to Game Pass. It's the way that...
It's free. It's actually free. Game Pass, you have to pay a monthly fee.
Okay, so
this
at
is
the
free.
moment... So at the moment, Final Fantasy 14, you were able to play the free demo up until level 35. That's about a 10 or 20 hours, roughly, that you could experience this game. They've now come out and said, no, it's now going to be to level 60. And you can play as the Dark Knights, and I think... the Dark Knight, I think a couple of other players that you can play in the demo, but you can play as Batman.
So Batman confirmed for Final Fantasy 14, which is a huge moment for Square Enix and gamers all around the world.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. Now, look, it is good to see this because now level 60 is about 200 hours of content that you can actually play. That is by far the biggest demo we have ever seen in gaming. Ever. This is the best deal. This is the best deal apart from Game Pass, man. It really is. To see you be able to jump on and play pretty much the entirety of the leveling system up until level 60. Now, I know that they're actually retooling the leveling path and they're making it a lot faster now compared to how it used to be. Still pretty fetched to see that you can jump on here.
Yeah.
And you can play all the way up to Sky. What's the one called? I can't find it here. But Heaven's Sword, that's right, Heaven's Sword. So you can play all the way up to that, up to patch 3.56. There's a lot of game that you can play here, and that's the biggest demo we've ever seen. I wonder if that'll actually have a fundamental effect on demos in general. If this is hugely successful,
I've been wanting to dip my toe into Final Fantasy 14 for a while.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want to make the investment because I'm like, I probably won't have the time to play for it anyway, and CBF paying for a subscription.
Yeah.
This removes all barriers of entry, and you can literally sink 200 hours into it, which might even be enough to play it and then get over it and stop playing it.
Which is a real risk for these developers.
Your bag, baby.
It's really your bag, baby.
Then you can just, what an amazing way to get people in.
Look, this is the thing though. I just hope it works out for them because it would be a shame if everyone jumps on for 200 hours, they've never played it, and they've already it doesn't capture them or whatever. There's a reason why when Street Fighter 4 came out, there was no demo because there's certain ways that if you play a certain amount, you may get over it. Now I don't know with Final Fantasy 14. I know with all MMOs, the best stuff is in the end game and stuff, but this may be so long in the demo space that a lot of people never actually put any money into this thing, which would be a shame for Square Enix. Now, as we move on, Star Wars: The Old Republic
More MMO news. Star Wars: The Old Republic has come to good old Steam. Now, this was released in 2011. This has mixed reviews. Firstly, it's nice to see EA bringing their titles to Steam.
This is the ultimate thing that they're doing here. They're bringing more and more titles to Steam. This is the latest one.
Which is just great.
Yeah.
So here's the next title in the long line of titles being added to Steam from EA. And this is good.
This is good.
So basically, I never played...
High level thoughts.
Okay. I never played The Old Republic.
Ralph did.
Ralph played it.
I think he said, look, the quest line was great, but I believe he
distinctly remember Ralph playing it.
The story was good.
Ralph actually went home early on Christmas Day.
Did he?
Yeah, in 2011 when this game came out, because he was just so into MMOs at the time. We did our Christmas celabrations. I'm pretty sure he went home early to go play or install The Old Republic. So he was really excited for Ralph. It. He later went on to say that the actual MMO elements weren't great, but he insists, I haven't played it, but he insists that the class quest lines were actually really solid. Now I don't know, I might be making this up. I think there was some writing by Drew Carpathian within this.
I believe you're right then.
So apparently the quality of writing in the quest lines are actually really solid.
Yeah.
So if you have zero interest in playing the more broader MMO elements, that's one thing, but hey, if you've been thinking about checking it out, do some research on the quest lines and suss it out.
So our next segment, of course, the Epic Games Land of the Free. Now, the two games that are at the moment free on the Epic Games Store. Check them out. Next up, Hero and Tacoma.
I think it'd be Tacoma.
Maybe it's like Weebish. Thiccboi. I don't know. Probably not. I am
Too much Ghost of
too much Ghost of Tsushima. I'm not. I don't know what these
More
games
free
are.
games.
I
Try
mean,
them
look,
out. If they
apparently-
suck, doesn't matter.
there's
You can
another-
just delete them, but they're free.
There's another game that I've never heard of currently. It's like Stalker or something. Apparently that's coming also to Epic Games. Who knows? But last story also. Now I'm a bit hesitant now to actually play this because it may be. Anyway, we'll
Maybe
play
just mute it.
New Jet Set Radio looking game. Now, Jet Set Radio for me was one of the best games on the original. Remember Jet Set Radio Future? I think it first made its appearance on Dreamcast, the original ones, right? So we have seen
Also
before,
known as Jet Grind Radio. I think in the US market it was Jet Grind Radio. In our market it was Jet Set Radio.
Yeah.
I think. Man, that game was so good.
It was one of the best games. I'm just so surprised we haven't seen it again.
Yeah.
Like,
and look,
why
we still,
not?
We still haven't seen it again.
That's
But
what I
this
mean.
is the next best thing. So a
like, it
spiritual
looks-
successor. I think the bloke
The
or
guy
lady,
that's
I'm
doing
not
the
sure.
composer, the dude,
The guy
I'm
that's
pretty sure it's
doing
a
the
dude.
composer.
The guy that's doing the composer.
The composer's partner is a really good person.
He spoke to the composer. The composer is doing the music for this.
So,
the Jet Set Radio composer is doing the music for this. Let's clarify that.
Jet Set
So he's
Radio
doing
is, and Jet Set
stuff.
Radio was very much, or Jet Grind Radio was very much defined by its soundtrack. It really lended to the overall
time.
aesthetic of the game.
That's just my high level thoughts.
High level thoughts,
You know?
to the point where I still regularly listen to that soundtrack.
Me too.
I've
had a few outro
Birthday Cake is an absolute tune.
banger. Oh, Butterfly. No winner. Got a hot dance.
Yeah.
Dun. Such a banger.
So that's cool. Go check out the trailer, and that is another thing that is out. Should we do some?
We're gonna do some super chats before
chats?
we finish, guys.
And then we're on the pointy end of it all.
Ooh, the pointy end. Okay, so love the show. Do you think?
God.
Okay, so Louis G, do you love the show? Do you
That's
think?
not good.
Do you think Halo Sub 7 is going to be? Oh, I've already said that. Halo 76, call a big daddy goblin. Halo 5. Do you add footed ghost just a video? What is it?
missed a few.
No. This is the one.
Does Thiccboi sound like Ralph?
Oh, is it just me or the Thiccboi sound like Ralph?
So
Oh, we have missed
Yeah,
a
you
few.
missed
Go
Halo.
on. Okay, sorry.
All right.
Big daddy goblin. No,
Halo, rest in peace. We hope not. We shall see. That's
no, we
from
got-
Beyond Exotic.
Beyond Exotic, nice. Big Daddy Goblin, $2. The trailer bits of the demo after it was released had the updated textures not shown in the live demo. It being an older one, the wrong foot first.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I haven't read that in particular.
I've seen a screenshot or two of that.
No, but then in terms of it being an older build, or older textures or whatever. If that is true, then yes, that is a big mistake. Because, again, they needed that showcase to blow us out of the water.
And it did not. Okay, Adam Williams for $10 freedom dollars. Glad to see Thiccboi.
I'm glad to see you too, my dude.
We're glad to see you, Adam Williams. We appreciate you, man. Francois Bergmans.
Bergsman again.
£2. Alec is thick because he has a big heart. His heart must be on his stomach then. Irish Noodles, $5 freedom dollars. It is just me, or does Thiccboi sound like Ralph?
No, Ralph sounds like
So he sounds like a
Thiccboi.
loser. Is that what you're
Ralph
saying?
sounds like Thiccboi.
No, definitely
He
not.
copied me.
Big Daddy Goblin again. Is that him again?
I think he just meant it. No. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Big Daddy Goblin again. Yeah, we're getting confused here. To add footed, Ghost just did a video comparing the screenshots. Oh, okay, from them to the show. Not good. Trying to simp for Halo, but there is more to it. Okay.
Trust him for it.
Nice,
Hey,
nice.
look, if there's more info out there that be covered, then they're great.
We report, we get it wrong. That's how it is here. Layman news. But okay, it's important that everyone understands exactly what's going on with Halo. But if they are showing earlier builds of it, that's not.
It's a bit
good.
silly.
Not great. Jay Bautista. Jay Bautista.
We got Batista. He says, "Oh, you go on. You closer."
Okay,
I'm
I'm closer. Yeah, you can't see. Okay.
I'm gonna ask
Hey,
him.
Layman. Team Click is lucky to team up with you guys. Booyah! I'm sure their subs increased by 20%. We're here to help them. Okay, we're here to help them, guys. Appreciate the $10 freedom dollars. Nazdor Zabu. Anthem.
Nandor.
Nandor. What did I say?
He's
Sorry.
slidexic.
Anthem didn't know what it was when the trailer came out. That's kind of true, actually. And look where it landed itself. Everyone knows.
That's very an astute observation.
Very astute. Very astute. That's 400 Huffington Post.
Huffington
points.
Nice, man.
Thank you very much. Now we got one more super chat, but we can't see it. It's the last one's always gone.
Really?
Yeah, you can't scroll down to the last one. It's really
We
annoying.
will find it.
Oh, Joe Moses! I have a question for the friggin' Thicky. Do you think man will ever walk on the sun?
Great question.
Joe Moses is a good friend of ours. We've got two friends in the chat today, Don Wild and Joe Moses. Very, very good to see you, Joel.
Very good question. I think
we're
we
gonna
will
take
one
that
day walk
$8.
on the sun.
We're taking that $8, Joel. Guys, thank you so much. That is it for
That's it.
today. That was a very successful Layman Live. Thiccboi, thank you very much for joining us.
The debut.
I hope you guys had a good time. I feel like we did a really, really fun session without Ralph.
And we did go a bit over.
So we don't need Ralph here anymore.
We wanted to make sure it was a bit longer for you.
It's always good when it's a little bit longer.
Extra length,
Okay.
you know,
Extra
really
length
counts
is
for
good.
something.
All right, extra length does count now. We're going to end this before we get demonetized. Guys, we will see you next time.
Thank you very much for joining.
Layman out.